Yes, today we filed an appeal before the Honorable Supreme Court against the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill 2026. Well, there are certainly good proposals included in the amendment bill, but there are several challenging critical clauses as well. So that we have basically questioned a couple of areas, including, like you would have heard about some technicalities with regard to the claim of interest cost of a company, which creates actually some discriminations into the picture, because you see, for an example, if you run a business, a company, right, your interest cost is basically limited. The claim of interest cost is limited under the Inland Revenue Act, the prevailing law. But the issue is, in the proposed Inland Revenue Amendment bill, which basically limits your claimability based on the profitability of the organization. Let me put it very simply for the general public. So, say for an example, you run a company, your issued share capital is 10 million, and your retained earnings, rather profit of your organization so far, is 1 rupee. So, whatever now you have an equity base, right? So that you can claim the finance cost based on the prevailing limitations. But look at a company who has come through a lot of challenges, maybe through health issues we experienced in 2019, and economic crisis, Ditwa, this and that. So they would have reported losses. I mean, many of the SMEs in Sri Lanka have reported losses. So if you have a retained loss, I mean the accumulated loss, if I go back to my example, you have issued share capital of 10 million and 10 million of accumulated loss. So your equity base is 0, whereby your entire finance cost, interest cost that you pay to the bank is disallowed in computing your company's business profit. Actually, this matter was previously tested, questioned by the Inland Revenue under the previous act at the Court of Appeal. So Honorable Court of Appeal very clearly in that case explained, held that negative reserves, or rather losses, cannot be reserves for tax purposes. So now the issue is the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill 2026, superseding all these precedents. They are trying to bring in an amendment to say that negative reserves, or rather losses, are considered reserves. So that, as I said, a business who is incurring a loss, whereas cannot claim interest costs to a great extent, and whereas a company with even a marginal profit can claim the finance costs, or rather interest. So there is a discrimination. That is the first challenge that we have brought up today with our help of our lawyers. And the second thing we have basically taken up is when the Commissioner General, there is a section, there is a clause in the amendment bill. Okay, Commissioner General can, take up recovery actions through the magistrate court, but the magistrate doesn't have the authority to, review, look into the matter, and whether there is really a liability, whether there is a correction needed. So that's something, the Commissioner General is empowered, even with some of the judicial authorities, in my understanding. So that we have, as I said, this is rooted, our genuine effort is rooted in the fundamentals of taxpayer rights, so that we have filed this case in a genuine, with a genuine understanding for the protection of taxpayer rights. Thank you. I must thank our lawyers for their kind support in this national effort. Thank you.